Welcome back as we take a step back in time to the golden years of radio in Perth. In the 70s and 80s, political correctness was never an issue, and DJs often said and did things they wouldn't get away with today. While there was fierce competition on air, Graham Butler reports behind the scenes some great friendships were forged.
We're all getting older, so we came up with the saying, the older we get, the better we were.
It was fantastic. The golden years.
One of the good things about this, getting back together, is that most of us were competitors.
30 radio legends walk into a bar. It's not the start of a corny gag, it's a get-together of some of Perth's biggest broadcast stars of the 70s and 80s, and the people who got them to air.
Got together with a lot of competitors and workmates and said we'll do a 4 times a year lunch, a reunion. It's called Wars, West Australian Radio Survivors.
Barry Martin is one of the driving forces. For more than a decade, he, along with his on-air partner, the late John K. Watts, ruled the Perth airways. It all began in 1972.
And we got on well together and looked out for each other. And his loss was a tragedy to me. I mean, I think about him every day. You know, but he was just one of those guys. You know, he did a lot of time at Channel 7, and got some of the blue for tapes.
It was a golden age of radio, and Perth lapped up the larrikin antics. Keven Bloody Wilson got booted off air in Kalgoorlie for the sort of gags he later made a living out of. But in Perth, Martin and Watts got away with blue murder.
In 3 months we went number 1, and then after that, for 5 years, we were either 39 or 40% of the audience, which is unheard of anywhere in the country.
And that went on at 6 p.m. for years and years and years. It was a wonderful time.
In the 70s and 80s, no one was bigger in this town than Yorkie.
I didn't see competition. I just did my job from 8:30 in the morning till 12 o'clock. How do you do? It's good to see you. How do you do? I'm glad I'm here. And that was my theme song. And the whistle, of course.
Down the road and around the dial at the ABC, you'd find Ted Ball.
If you look back at the Wattsy and Martin, and even though I never worked with them and competed against them, I have to say they would have to be undoubtedly the greatest double act that radio has had in Australia.
Some of the voices and faces of radio made the transition to television too.
Started out in radio, started at 2GB in Sydney, then Channel 9 in Sydney, came over here to Channel 7 to read news, but I panel operated for Peter Dean and John Fryer and did Midnight to Dawn.
4 times a year, old rivalries are put aside as Perth's radio icons get together. And you can bet the stories get bigger as the afternoon grows longer.
We come along to the Grover and a lot of BS floats around during the afternoon, but it's just amazing after many, many years working against people that everyone's a bit like footballers, just to bash each other up. They're good mates.
How would you describe those years in radio here in Perth particularly?
The best. Top of range. Right up the top.